Well, good morning, everybody. Kevin Crouch here with South Metro Weather, and we have more information, though I'm not sure we have anything different from what we have been saying. Timing might be a little bit different here, but really not much. And it's interesting. I'm starting to see different people, even professional meteorologists, who are all kind of starting to say different things, saying, "Hey, I might lean this way, I might lean that way." So it's almost kind of getting down to just what do you prefer to say? What do you prefer? Um, that your perspective be. So I'm gonna bring you what I see. We have the really a closer purview now of these models that are the short term high resolution models, and these are the ones where I start putting a little more confidence. Excuse me, I start putting a little more confidence in those because we're closer to the event. That system is onshore and kind of starting to do its thing now, and so I really feel better giving more certainty, if you will, to this. So first, I want to just start off. Obviously, there's nothing happening in our area right now. We're pretty clear. We had some fog this morning, and we'll take a look at the cyclone port over in Glen Heights. That shows, and it's looking north. Most of this fog was south of the Metroplex, but looks pretty good. It was looking fairly foggy out that way. You can probably see a little bit of that out in the distance there, but generally looking over Glen Heights, things look good. And we that fog, it came in kind of quick this morning. It jumped in really. I had people telling me, yeah, at 7 o'clock it looked clear, and I'm driving around at 8, and you can barely see a quarter of a mile. But it looks like that has subsided here. But really, not much going on. What I want to show you is we'll get the cyclone ports off the screen there, but I want to show the system that is coming in. So you can see the spin here. Here's the system just making its way on to shore there in California. And you can see all of the Pacific moisture that is getting pushed our way. And this is only going to continue. This system is only going to continue to push more and more of this moisture in. This is going to set us up for this whole system because we'll get all the moisture coming in, plus those frigid temperatures, that Arctic air that will be moving in. And people have been asking me, so if it's just rain on Friday, are we not going to get anything? It's the same thing as people that said because Christmas was warm, winter is over. I mean, people have a tendency, I've noticed, to see a moment in time and let that moment in time explain the entire event. And it's in meteorology, you have to be careful of that because, you could be dealing with very different circumstances than if you just look at one small detail and go, that tells me all I need to know. There's always so much more to it. So all that moisture getting pumped in north central Texas, and that is going to really into the southern plains here, and that is going to set us up for all of this rain that we are going to get. So let's go ahead and start showing what the models are showing this morning. So we have the next set of data will come in right after this. This was timed with what I could do, but we'll get another long-term HR run and another North American model run. HRRR stands for High Resolution Rapid Refresh, and we'll get another run of that plus another run of the North American model here in the afternoon as well. We'll do another live stream at 6 o'clock. With more details looking at tomorrow. We're going to start getting more data more quickly now. This is where we start, things it seems like data is constantly coming in. But from what I've seen from these long-term runs, we have some fairly decent agreement here. So let's kind of look at what we're looking at in terms of precipitation. And what we have right now really is we start getting the rain Friday morning. That's pretty much stayed consistent. And I need to adjust this to show the precipitation types. Here we go. All right, so the precipitation types, and I might see if I can adjust this color table a little bit because I know it looks very different from our usual radar. But what you notice is plenty of rain. Now, here's the thing. People aren't really thinking about all of the rain on Friday factoring into our ice accumulation, because what rain we have on the ground when we hit 28, 27 degrees, that starts to freeze. So it's not just about, the wintry precipitation we're going to get through the day, through the day Saturday and on Sunday, part of the day Sunday. We'll get into timing a little later, but that's what we're looking at in terms of all of the rain coming through. So this is 4 o'clock Friday, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then through the evening on Friday. Now, what's interesting is you see this wave of heavier precipitation. Watch this. That's when it starts to change over. This is 6 a.m. Saturday morning. Now, what the other part that's interesting is that the backside here, we see this dry area, this gap. And I'm curious to see what the afternoon data shows with this gap. You can see more moisture off to the southwest. And there is an expectation that we will get at least 2 waves of moisture here, not 2 separate storms. That's what happened in 2021, was we had 2 separate storm systems. That's why we were below freezing for 9 to 10 days. This is not the same situation. This is just another wave of moisture that's coming through. And once this gets into the colder air, the argument, I guess, could be made that this could be late Saturday into Sunday. But what we're looking at here is changeover starting right around 6 a.m. on Saturday. So that's where we expect to start seeing that transition from rain to sleet, freezing rain. I really do expect it to be a mix. And I had some people look at this image and go, well, so it's just rain in Hillsboro? You have to understand it's a north to south progression. You can see that progression there. So that is where we start getting colder. Now, this could move earlier. This could move later. We just have to watch and see what happens over the next 24 hours. As the system gets closer and the models learn more about it, they will refine their findings. I remember a year ago when, in fact, I was just talking to my pastor about this. He was in the Gainesville area last year, this time, and talked about how great the snow was. And I remember last year's event was a big, big bust. I mean, we were watching on the Dallas TV stations how, the Metro northward got tons of great snow, and I'm looking around, we got next to nothing. So I'm a little weary of winter busts, and I would really rather not have one this year. At the same time, though, that was a blessing for the roads because they weren't near as rough. But I know how people work, and I know that if this does not go as expected, lots of people are going to be upset because they changed plans. So that's the HR model. Let's look at the NAM model. This goes a little farther out, and so this will give us a little bit of a deeper purview of getting through the weekend. So the NAM model gives us the rain Friday morning. No changes there. Plenty of rain all day Friday. Just a wet, cold day Friday. And this is 12 a.m. So some heavier precipitation coming in overnight into Saturday morning here. And then again, you can see that progression southward. That's 7 a.m., 8 a.m., and 9 a.m. So you can see that southward progression right around the same time, if not maybe just a hair later on that NAM model. So Saturday morning after sunrise, that's when we start really filtering in the colder air. And what's interesting here is you can see, again, that second kind of wave of rain Saturday morning making its way through Big Bend, and then it will make its way towards us that night, that afternoon and evening, and then maybe more to come. And you can see here kind of this mix. Sometimes this is not as great at, color typing this. I don't know that this needs to be taken as seriously as an indication of, a mix of rain and freezing rain. And that's the pink that you're seeing here. The pink is freezing rain. The lighter kind of orangish pink, that skin color almost, is the sleet, and then the snow, of course, in the blue. I hate to dash your hopes here, but I don't see much of a snow situation for our area this weekend. I'm not expecting much snow at all for our area this round. If we get any, it'll be on Sunday, maybe mid to late morning, maybe midday Sunday when this is moving out. I think we'll have to get it on the kind of the back end of this, which is normal. That's usually where we tend to get our best snow chances. So that's what we're looking at in terms of snowfall, and I think any snowfall we get is going to be minimal. I'm really not expecting much, if any at all, in terms of the accumulations. So I'm really not. I really don't have much to offer there, other than we might get a few flurries on the backside of this system. So those are the models I'm watching at this point, and I know that doesn't go all the way out, and we'll talk about timing in a moment. But one other thing I want to show, and I'll just put the radar up here, and we'll kind of take that off the board, so I can go through a few things. So winter weather here. That's snowfall accumulations for day 3. So that's Saturday. We'll see what they put out for Sunday. It may give us a little bit of a something, but no, that's not what I wanted. Let's see. We need day 3. Here's the accumulations for day 3. So today is day 1, Friday day 2, Saturday. This is day 3. Moderate risk of a quarter inch or more of ice. Well, it doesn't want to give us that discussion. So this is what we're looking at in terms of those ice, and these graphics will go out through the day. I will be publishing these out where they can, folks can see these later on. But this is our ice accumulation probability here. That's what we're looking at in terms of, hey, ice accumulation of a quarter inch or more. There's a moderate risk of that. And I think it's fairly likely. And I would say that below a quarter of an inch is even more likely. So what the National Weather Service has said, and I think that this is, Mindy, we're working through that. You got to know where Hill County is on the map. We've covered the precipitation timing here. We'll cover the temperatures here shortly as well. And so, on this map, you have the slight risk, the moderate risk, and the high risk. So east of our area, from the Tyler area, really from right about Gun Barrel City on to Canton, Tyler, Jacksonville, Longview, over into Louisiana, that's where you have your high risk. So that's going to be greater accumulation of ice. So in our area, we are definitely looking at a pretty decent likelihood of ice in our area. And by the way, too, Mindy, you were asking about Hill County. Most of the information I'm giving pretty much covers the whole area, all 4 of our counties. So just look at it, that way. But accumulations, I'm looking at about a quarter of an inch to an inch of ice for our area through the weekend. And so this is really just Saturday. So this is day 1. So this is going to be just Saturday. Sunday, we'll see what that shows. Tomorrow, we will be looking at, and I'll try to take more questions here at the end, but we're looking at a moderate risk of a quarter of an inch. I think that we may end up being in a high risk once we get to Sunday, because we will have gotten more precipitation by that point. I think we have more precipitation, mostly freezing rain and sleet. Really not looking at much snow until maybe around midday Sunday on the backside of this system. But going forward, I think that Sunday will have a higher likelihood of ice because we will have had more of that precipitation through Saturday and then that hard freeze going into Sunday morning. So let's get these off the map here, and we will talk about temperature timing. So let's go back over to those models. That's kind of the 2 pieces of this is, when are we going to drop below freezing? So again, I'll try to take questions at the end here. So when we look at the temperatures, as far as dropping below freezing, the NAM model, this is 6 o'clock on Friday night. So Saturday morning, and again, this pretty much follows when we're going to see that transition over to freezing precipitation, but Saturday morning, that's 6 a.m. That's when we start seeing 32. But you notice how quickly we're right around 30. So that's noon. And then by the afternoon hours, we're in the low 30s, probably upper 20s by the evening. And, it's just going to deteriorate from there because we will be dropping into the teens overnight into Sunday morning. And so any of that precipitation, any of that falls is what we're going to see. And so that's, I think the HR model is probably pretty similar on that. No, this is not that extended run. Let's see, go back to 12, go back to what we have from this morning. And yeah, so that light blue that you see there, that is freezing. That's kind of your freezing line, and that continues southward overnight into Saturday morning. And then, so really the HR model, let's see here. Well, so our freezing is, I apologize, I was misreading that. The freezing is this kind of this whitish color that you see. And so by 6 a.m., that's creeping in. So the HR model, again, maybe shows a hair later, but not much. So it will be Saturday morning, right around sunrise probably, that we will start to drop below freezing area wide. And that actually, I estimated a bit low for our forecast low Friday night into Saturday morning because it looks like, we won't actually drop below freezing. And that's some data that we got after I put that forecast together. So this is looking a little later now in terms of those the temperatures dropping below freezing. So we'll see if that trend continues. But Saturday morning, whether it's late Friday night or early Saturday morning that we drop below freezing, we still are going to be very cold, still have plenty of precipitation, and it's going to be problematic out there. And I'm hoping to have an interview this time tomorrow with someone that can tell us a lot more about what the state of Texas looks like in terms of, or really at least our area, in terms of the roads and the prep there and the safety precautions there and that sort of thing. And we'll see what kind of information we can get there. But again, nothing today. Today is a good day to finish those preparations. Tomorrow the rain starts, and then after that, it just gets ugly. So something I want to show you and discuss, and let me get this pulled up here. Something I want to talk about is the closures. So if you go to our website here at southmetroweather.com, we are looking at closures and delays. And that is where and I know that I've had some come in today. I haven't updated this yet today, but this is where you can see all those closures and delays. Here's the thing. If and when schools start communicating closures and delays for next week, they won't mention anything about tomorrow, but possibly Monday, remote possibility Tuesday. I think Monday is really probably going to be the only weekday that's going to be affected. But if and when they communicate those, I need that information from teachers and administrators. I don't need every parent in Midlothian ISD telling me that they're closed. We have a tendency in Ellis County specifically, and other counties sometimes are similar, where essentially all the superintendents get together and decide what they want to do. And once they decide to close, they all close at the same time, or they all announce at the same time. And I get barraged with announcements of potential, of closures and delays and that kind of thing. And it's just a madhouse because my phone is smoking because of all the notifications from email and messages and all the comments and all that stuff, because I've got 1,200 people from one school district that are all telling me at the same time that it's closed. So, it'll be helpful if we can try to limit that to, organization leaders, business owners, administrators, teachers and administrators, government, leaders and that kind of thing. But you go to southmetroweather.com/closures and delays, or /closures actually. That is where you can see that. And then you can send those to kevin@southmetroweather.com. Yeah, Callie, I'm sure they will anyway, but I'm gonna advocate for myself a little bit here. So here's the forecast that we have, the 7-day forecast as of right now. This temperature from Friday into Saturday may have to go up a little bit because it looks like we're going to be a little bit later in terms of that drop below zero. So I think that overnight Friday into Saturday morning, we may not necessarily get that cold until a little bit later in the morning Saturday. So I don't think that really counts as overnight. So that forecast or that temperature probably needs to be updated. But as far as the timing here, the rain starts Friday morning. Rain continues overnight Friday. Saturday morning, right now, right around sunrise, maybe just after, that is where we are looking at our biggest likelihood for that changeover to freezing rain, sleet, and I think that it's just going to be a mix of those two. And that's dangerous because the freezing rain is the worst, because that is, remember our donut comparison here, and we'll pull that up for you. But just remember, that's where you get that glaze on the ground, just like the glazed donut. You get that glaze on the ground that spreads out, covers the ground in ice, and it's awful. It is just terrible. So just keep that in mind here as you go through the next few days. And when you hear about freezing rain, sleet, the freezing rain causes the most issues. The sleet can stick to the freezing rain, and that can be problematic. So through the day Saturday, we will get below freezing. We will stay below freezing. Once we're under 28 degrees, that's where you really start freezing those roads. And it's going to be windy through this period as well. So wind chills are going to be even colder. And so through the day Saturday, overnight Saturday, the precipitation continues. I think it continues. It may be off and on. It may be waves, but we have the precipitation continuing into Sunday morning. Temperatures in the teens, wind chills in the single digits during that period of time. Sunday, this is one of the bigger changes that we had in the forecast. Sunday's trending colder. Northwest winds 10 to 15 miles per hour. So temperatures in the 20s Sunday, wind chills in the teens, just darn freaking cold during that time. And precipitation probably ends around late morning, midday Sunday. Now, if we're going to have any snow, that's probably going to be the best opportunity for it, but I think it's going to be some light snow just on the backside of that. So we'll see what that does. We may get lucky in it. We may get enough of a push on the backside of that system to get some heavier snow, but I think whatever we do, it will probably be brief. And then Sunday, the rest of the day looks dry, but it's darn cold. And then Sunday night into Monday, this is the coldest temperatures we have. 8 degrees for that low. And some of us could get lower than that because, again, if you're in that low-lying area. So very cold. Monday looks like the first chance we have to get above freezing, though it may be brief and it'll be later in the day. That's why I mentioned Monday may be questionable, because if we get more sun on Sunday, and that's a big if we get more sun on Sunday, that could help to warm some surfaces. That may help us to maybe clear some of these roads. But whatever's left, a big hard freeze Sunday night into Monday morning. Whatever melts will refreeze. Whatever moisture is left, could be some cobblestone ice there. And then Monday, whatever melts, and if we get more sun there, that'll help to clear some of those surfaces. But we're right back in the teens Monday night into Tuesday morning. So getting rid of this ice might be a little bit of a process. It may be a little slow because we're going to be dealing with those temperatures throughout that period of time. Tuesday, Wednesday, we're back in the 40s. We have below freezing lows Tuesday night into Wednesday, but at least we are much warmer above freezing during that time, and we can really start thawing out through that period of time. So let me go through some of these comments. I've probably answered some of these just through this discussion. Hunter, how icy are the roads going to be? Pretty darn. That's my country boy answer. Pretty darn. Pretty darn icy. Can you go over temps and things and I think I've pretty well covered Hill County. All of this covers the 4-county area. There's nothing that I've said that really covers anywhere too specifically. Let's see here. What about snow? Yeah, primarily freezing rain, sleet, ice, all that really not fun stuff. Elizabeth, you're asking, why is it so cold today? I thought it was supposed to be warmer. What did I miss? So, yesterday was our warmer day. We had a weak front come through. We also have more cloud cover today. And so, that is what is keeping us colder today. So, that's where the cooler air is coming in. Let's see. So Saturday's when the roads supposed to go. Yeah, so Saturday through the day, the roads will deteriorate. Normal ice, like we get every winter at some point, or more destructive. So here's the thing. I mean, you get above quarter of an inch of ice, that starts accumulating on your trees and on your roads and all these things. Um, we've obviously power outages are a huge issue with these storm systems, and I think that what we're going to see is we'll most likely see equipment failures. So limbs falling on power lines and power lines snapping, limbs falling on transformers and that causing a problem. I think they're going to be more sporadic. I think there will be a lot of them, but I don't think it's going to be a statewide grid failure. I think we're going to see equipment failures, and those are very possible. So this could be pretty troublesome ice. Janet, are we looking at ice staying on the roads through Monday morning? I'm not completely certain of that, but it seems fairly likely to me that we will have at least some icy roads on Monday morning. But it just depends on how much sun we can get on Sunday, and then how quickly we can get above freezing Monday. Which really, it's going to be briefly in the afternoon. That's it. So Monday morning could be a problem. Mindy potentially waiting to ask more question. How long will the precipitation last? We're looking at all day Friday through early Sunday. We could have breaks in there, but it will be off and on through at least late morning, midday Sunday. If bad, how long will roads be bad? So I mean, it's hard to say. Again, like I said, depends on how much sun we get on Sunday. If that can heat and then really thaw and evaporate some ice. We'll see if that can happen, but more likely, we'll be able to maybe clear some of that up on, Tuesday, maybe Monday, and then more likely Tuesday. Bahama Plumbing, absolutely protect your plumbing. They actually go to Bahama Plumbing's Facebook page because they posted a great video. Aaron did a wonderful job of discussing how to protect your plumbing. Go to their Facebook page and follow them, please. I would ask you seriously to do that because he's got some great information and he's looking out for you. He really is good at it, and that's why we're partners here at South Metro Weather. Jennifer, this evening, can you go over us healthcare workers camping at the hospital? When do you think the roads will be safe to drive home? Prediction for roads on Monday. It's tough. Again, it's tough. A lot of ifs, a lot of depends, a lot of maybes in terms of the roads improving between Sunday and Monday. Unfortunately, it's going to be kind of one of those wait and see deals. People hate that. I hate that. Listen, I'm the kind of person that I want my spontaneity to be planned. Okay, I don't I don't necessarily do well with. We'll see. You can ask my wife. Terry will vouch for it, but it's going to be a close call Sunday to see how much sun maybe can warm the ground. And even if the air is below freezing, the road can still be warmed up above freezing if the sun is hitting it. So maybe some help on Sunday, better chance on Monday, definitely Tuesday, Wednesday. Kate, you have a wedding that you're in on Friday, 5:30 to 8:30. No, we won't be dropping below freezing that early. So Friday is fine. It's going to be rainy. It's going to be wet. So just keep that in mind. But congratulations to the to be wedded. But it's going to be gross out there. It's going to be a yucky cold rain on Friday, but it will be above freezing during that time, at least from what we're seeing. Are we going to have a repeat of Snowmageddon in 2021? Absolutely not. Nowhere close. We are not going to be below freezing for 10 days. Mindy, yeah, it's going to be windy, and we covered that. So we'll, whatever temperatures you're seeing, add the wind chill, and it's just awful. We could have negative below zero wind chills overnight Sunday into Monday. Living in Circleville, Ohio. I don't cover Ohio. I really don't know. We cover north central Texas between Dallas and Waco. So I'm not one of those pages that covers the whole country. I just cover a specific area. And Bahama saying there will be many more videos over the next 24 hours. So go follow Bahama Plumbing. Go follow Bahama Plumbing because they are going to keep you informed. Aaron and I talked about this the other day, and I was more than excited because I do enough. I can unclog a toilet. I can clean a P trap. I can do some basic stuff, but Aaron has saved my butt multiple times, including when my son has put things down the toilet. Haven't we all been there? Yeah, I mean, Aaron is knowledgeable. He knows what he's talking about, and he cares about the community. So go follow Bahama Plumbing. Seriously, I'm going to plug him till the end of time because he's going to keep you informed. Everyone check on seniors as well. Yeah, that's the thing. And the 5 Ps. I'm going to get these wrong. I know. I haven't eaten lunch yet, so I'm hungry. But people, plants, pets, pools, and pipes. I think that's right. I think that's all. Did I get it? I think I got it. So those are the things you need to check on. So people, check on your folks. Back in 2021, we had dear friends of ours that lived in Italy, and their house was basically inhabitable. No power, no plumbing, nothing. I mean, it was just they couldn't. In fact, I think they slept in this room right here during that time, and they hung out with us for a little while. And turned out, because timing is everything, that my wife and I both had a stomach bug that we passed around during that time. And so I was sick as a dog trying to cover a historic winter storm. And they kind of helped us through that too. And my friend Jeremy, in fact, cooked on the grill. He cooked us dinner. That was his paying us back, if you will, for letting him stay here. But that's the thing. You gotta check on your folks, especially folks that may not have very good installation. You gotta consider that, take care of those things. It's just, you gotta check on your people, check on seniors, check on people that may not necessarily be as clued in on what's coming. We will be sharing on the page I shared several of them just this morning, all of the warming centers, right? And I may actually start a page on our website specifically for those and just try to keep up. But those warming centers, they are out there, and we are sharing that information. So if you have those, shoot me an email. The best way for me to get that information out is so that I can share your post about it, not me post personally, but me post your organization's information about it. That way, that directs people to your organization's page to ask questions, because I can't answer questions about your warming center. So just keep that in mind. People, pets. If you're cold, they're cold, right? Now, here's the thing. If you know people with huskies and the husky is outside, they want to be there. Maybe not when it's 8 degrees. That might be a little much. But huskies love to be in the cold. So just, hold your judgment. The huskies are living their best lives, whether it makes sense or not. But bring the pets in. I know I'll have our 2 dogs. I just got them an extra bed. They're going to be all warm and cozy. They've got a space heater in there. That space heater, that thing gets cozy. I mean, on a low setting, it's nice and cozy in there. So they will be living high on the hall. But definitely check on your plants. I've already seen people wrapping trees and things like that. Take care of those plants today before it gets all rainy and gross. Your pipes, follow Bahama Plumbing on Facebook. They've got more tips coming out. That's going to be really, really great. Your pools. If you have a pool, not everybody does, but if you have a pool, this is Texas, you need to make preparations there as well. So I think I've covered them all, but that's really important information. Dodie, you're seeing several online posts about widespread power outages lasting for days. Is it more from the trees falling on power lines or just lines sagging by themselves? Either one. I mean, either is possible. You could have, old lines that just snap under the pressure. You could have lines that get hit by those tree limbs. I mean, you could have, your equipment failures can happen in multiple different ways in these storms. So with that quarter inch or more of ice, I mean, it's gonna mess up some lines, unfortunately. I have above ground power lines in my neighborhood. So I've got, chargers, charging, all this kind of thing. That's one of those great. And Dan Brunoff up in Dallas has been talking about this a lot. Those little power banks, or those little power chargers, those little external batteries, you can get for your phone. Get a few of those. I've got one. I'm looking for my other two right now because I haven't had to use them so long, but I'm looking for my other two. Um, and those are going to be important. If you lose power and losing power for days, again, I don't expect this to be a grid failure where they have to fix the entire grid. This is going to be more localized, and I can promise you that Encore and your cooperatives will be working overtime. I'm on Navarro County Cooperative myself, and when I tell you they get to it quick, it's like nothing happened, right? So they handled 2021 really well, and they've always handled power outages really well, so they're really great. So I lastly want to talk about, I think I've caught up on questions. I want to talk about my little graphic here. Here's the difference. Let me get it's in the way. Let's talk about freezing rain, sleet, and snow with donuts. I like donuts. We're probably gonna have donuts tomorrow morning for breakfast, just to mark the occasion, I guess. So freezing rain, glazed donut. Freezing rain is liquid for most of its journey to the surface, but freezes on contact. This leads to icy surfaces. This is what spreads out and gets ice on everything. So that's why freezing rain is the worst of it. Sleet is like a sprinkled donut. Sleet is frozen pellets of precipitation that is solid before it reaches the ground. Can accumulate. It should be it can accumulate. It can accumulate and stick to icy surfaces. So sleet can be problematic, but it's not as widespread, so to speak, as freezing rain. And then snow is solid, but more fine than sleet. It can stick to icy surfaces, but is often light enough to blow around. So it can accumulate, but it doesn't really cause slippery roads necessarily. That's the ice. Sometimes it can cover ice, which is really problematic because you, I guess, see snow and don't think it's there. So that's the difference there. And Maury Harris, you said, don't forget to drain your irrigation system if you have one. It basically means just shutting a valve in the yard and running the system to empty it. There are excellent YouTube videos. Cool. YouTube videos, I use those all the time to learn how to do basic things. Mary Garza, do you know what the best practices are for when you have to drive to work, like safety driving tips? So tomorrow at noon, we're going to have an expert on our live coverage here who will share some information about that, and I think will be very informative. But I mean, basic things like, you turn into, if you fishtail, you turn into the fishtail, that kind of thing. That's something that I know. And the other thing I would say is just drive slowly. If you have to drive on ice to work, first of all, God bless you. Because that's stressful. But just take it easy. Slow. Give yourself extra time. Take your time. Don't make any sudden, shifts or movements or anything like that. That's the best way, really the best I can say. But we will have an expert tomorrow around noon, at our noon update, in fact, that will give more information on that. Folks, that's all I've got for you right now. There's really not much more to say there. I will say that weather call, if you have weather call, you can update that to communicate when let's see, let me get this posted up here. You can turn on an option to get winter alerts. So when this winter storm watch that's in effect, that goes into effect tomorrow at, let's see, is that noon? I meant to pull that up. Let's get that up here so we can reference that. It's somewhere. All right, here we go. So here is that winter storm watch. Goes into effect at 12 o'clock tomorrow through 6 a.m. Sunday. That eventually will turn into a winter storm warning. I've had a few ask that. I can't tell you exactly when that's going to happen. I'm not sure what the National Weather Service's process is there. But when this turns into a warning, if you have weather call on your phone, you can get a text message when it goes into effect. So if you have weather call, go in and click that option. If you don't have weather call, you can see right below me here the information, just $15 a year, 24/7 monitoring for your location. You get a call or a text depending on what the alert is. You can use the Find Me feature. So if you've got to go to work, you can get that alert there instead of your house, and then just turn it off when you get back home. It's a great service to have. It works in severe weather too. So if you sign up now, turn on the winter alerts, you're all set for the spring. before spring even gets here, you're ready, right? So weather call is a great thing, but if you have it already, go in, log into your dashboard, turn on those winter alerts, and you'll get those winter warnings as those things are issued. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm going to go get some lunch. I got to eat. I got some more updates to post here. And then make sure that you are getting prepared today, and follow Bahama Plumbing. They have some tips for you. I'm sure Heritage Air has plenty of tips for you as well. Any of our sponsors, I mean, those folks are going to be sharing very helpful information. Cool Hand Electric as well. They're very knowledgeable. So go follow those folks, and they will have more recommendations for you going forward. Next update is 6 p.m. tonight. I'll see you for dinner.
Smile upon your face, and I see something shimmering in your eyes. And they say if you want to glimpse the future, you need space. And you said you'll put down your morning guns. Would you follow me to wander? Take my hand and walk beside me in a world of thunder. Fear is an imposter. When you look at me this way, I find it hard to not give in. So the days became weeks, it felt just like the night before. You were slowly fading in my mind. When you left, I was so completely gone, but now I'm sure you were some of the best of things to find. I find it hard to not give in. I don't know what it means, but there's a smile upon your face, and I see something shimmering in your eyes. And they say if you want to glimpse the future, you need space. And said you'll put down your morning guns. Would you fall